Well, concerns over the RSV vaccine continue. There's no shot for infants per se. Well, there's a shot, but anyway, it's an antibody and it's expensive.
Yeah, and then again, deer hunting season starts this weekend in Wisconsin. We'll get some hunter safety tips from, well, a hunter himself.
That himself is here, UWL's Chief Quality Control Officer, Dr. Jeff Pothof. Thanks for being with us.
How are you?
Good. Still some confusion over this RSV.
I think so. I think in the grand scheme of things, it may not matter, but we talk about vaccines versus antibodies, and the difference is a vaccine is either a protein that we inject in you or the instructions to create a protein. So it starts with a protein. Your immune system reacts to that protein and it builds antibodies. The benefit of a vaccine is you get antibodies, but you also get memory. Your body remembers what this looks like, and for a long time, you can protect yourself. Antibodies is like skipping all the middle stuff, just injecting the antibody for a short period of time, sometimes 6 months or a year. You've got protection, but there's no memory. If you don't keep getting that antibody, your body won't fight it. For RSV, for those little babies, we have an antibody available. You get that injection, it protects you for that RSV season. For those over the age of 65, a vaccine. You get that vaccine, and now you're probably protected for multiple RSV seasons.
But they're not cheap, and insurance is not covering some of them.
No, I mean, this is one of the things we as physicians worry about is we're hearing about all these new medical breakthroughs, medications and things like that. They're all horribly expensive to the point where, like, the average person, unless it's covered by insurance, isn't going to have access to it. I think the vaccine for older individuals, 65 and older, for RSV, $300 if you don't have insurance. That's not chump change. For those young babies, to protect them for this RSV season, $1,000. There's other medicines out there that are, much more expensive than that. Starts to get you to wonder, how useful is it to have these medicines if no one can afford them?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, how can people make sure that when they get to the doctor's office, they don't get any surprises like, by the way, you owe this?
Yeah, I think oftentimes it's working with your insurance company. So if you're uninsured, it's a little bit easier. Like, these are what these things cost. It's often going to be unaffordable. Insurance may or may not cover some of these things, and they may or may not cover it with different deductibles and things like that. There's 100 different insurance plans that people have, so you really have to understand what does yours cover and what does it not. Your doctor can oftentimes help you with this, or at least get you to the right people.
Check before you get to the pharmacy.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about deer hunting. The gun season starts Saturday. You're a hunter.
I do chase the deer. Yeah.
What kind of safety tips do people overlook?
I think there's a few things. Oftentimes on MedFlight, we'll go out and we'll pick up some hunters. The things we pick them up for: one, tree stand safety. A lot of people will climb a tree and they won't have a safety harness on and they won't be tethered to that tree. That means some of you are going to fall out of that tree and you're going to break something. Arms and legs, sometimes unfortunately your spine, and you get paralyzed. So if you're going to climb in a tree stand, make sure that you're tethered to that tree from the minute that you leave the ground to when you come back to the ground. The other thing that we sometimes see firearm injuries are when you're going up and down the tree. So it's sometimes inconvenient to unload your firearm. You're like, I'm just going to throw it over my back and climb up the tree. And then something happens, now the gun hits something, the gun goes off, and now you've injured yourself. That's another common thing. Know what's behind your target. This is something every hunter knows. You get excited when you see that big deer. Make sure you're not shooting over, horizon or something like that. And the last thing is, if the most exercise you've gotten the last year is walking to the mailbox, do not think that you're going to trudge 1.5 miles through chest-high canary grass looking for that deer. You're probably going to have a heart attack. So talk to your doctor. If you have heart problems or if you're not completely healthy, make sure you kind of understand what you should and shouldn't be doing as you chase that buck this fall.
Is it a good idea, obviously, to make sure that you are with people, that your cell phone has the battery charged, because you never know?
I think that is helpful. And lots of times where we deer hunt, there isn't cell signal. So realize that if something does happen, getting help to you can, one, be difficult in contacting help. And it's just as hard for the EMTs to trudge through the canary grass as it was for you. Can delay getting help if you need it.
Is this a natural pull for you to get out of the woods this time of year?
Yeah, I think it's just tradition, right? Started when I was 12 years old, and there's just lots of memories with that. So even though I probably don't get quite as excited about going after the big buck, there's just so much history there. I think that's what it is for a lot of people in Wisconsin. Is it's just a tradition, something that we do. It's hard to give those things up.
And do you like the lack of cell service so you don't get a paging Dr. Pothof?
Yeah, I'm a little bit too ADHD for that. I kind of like to sometimes check my email and stuff, but I should enjoy the peace and quiet.
Absolutely. Well, be careful out there. There's not going to be probably any snow, and that's going to be.
It'll be warmer, so hypothermia, those kind of concerns, not so much this year. It should be good.
All right, be safe out there.
Yeah.